How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid Group, which ended up having a green day inside of the market. I know many of you are excited to actually see that. And also, there was a recent update that came out that I want to share with you. So I won't be wasting any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to see what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. We know for the short interest, it does have an impact on the way the stock performs, and this is exactly why we cover it. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $36.55, being up 4.03%. On the low, it tested $34.23, and then on the high, testing $37.38. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 60.85 million shares, and then for the average volume over 10 trading days, it is around 104.095 million shares. So that is definitely well below the average, but keep in mind, we saw some strength inside the stock. What this tells us, there are many who are still holding their positions in Lucid, and we also had some buying coming in as well. When we take a look at our chart, which is the 1-year daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is right around 76. So we are still in the overbought territory there. And then when we take a look at the moving averages on our chart, we have strength above the 50-day, the 100-day, the 200-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA on this strong uptrend. So one thing that is really good to see, that Lucid is holding up the $35 level. I was talking about this before previously, and we're seeing a continuation of that. But do keep in mind, on the day, we did end up testing $34.23. So going into tomorrow, this is a level, if we end up testing it again, you're going to want to see some strength. If we don't get that strength, then we could possibly pull back to where we were the day before. You could see right here around $33.12. As far as for the high being at $37.38, of course, we know as far as $40 is concerned, this is an area of resistance. This is a psychological area for Lucid. It doesn't spend too much time up here as of late when it gets to this particular price point. So that's why I could see many people that be looking to take profits and sell and so forth. So this is why it's important. The only way for it to break through this barrier, it would have to have a lot of volume and buying pressure coming into the stock. But for the most part, one thing that is very clear, I just want to see Lucid hold up $33 by the end of the week. So if it stays above 33, things are looking good. But if it does decide to break through 33, then you guys have a good idea of where this stock could possibly go. And we're talking about around the $30 range and so forth. And that's another area that we would love to see Lucid actually hold up as well. So let's see how it goes. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So as we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So what we could see here for November the 3rd, we had Van Eck Associates Corp that went in with just over 284,000 shares. We also have Herald Advisors that purchased 200 shares, and we also have Spectrum Management Group that purchased 100 shares. And even looking down further, most notable, we can see Victory Capital Management, and this was filed on November the 2nd, going in with just over 258,000 shares. So we have some institutional activity there. Keep in mind, those are the filings. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 39.78%, and then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 16.2 million shares. As we scroll down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 3.3 million, updated 5 minutes ago. And then for the short vol free rate, it is at 0.66%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the first, it was at 41.27. And then the close for the second, it is at 39.78. So what this tells us right away, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. We tend to look for 21% or higher, and it's almost doubled that criteria, and it's part of the reasons why you see a lot of volatility inside of this play. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we can see here on the inflow was 519, and then on the outflow it was 487. And now when we take a look at the breakdown, since we did have an inflow day, we had 3.44 on the large, 288 on the medium, 228 on the small. And on the large, we have 3.19. Then on the medium, we have 272. And then on the small, we have 212. And keep in mind, these numbers are in the millions. And then when we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for the past 5 trading days, we had 4 inflow days. I love that. And then when we see for November the 3rd, again, a bit little small candle of inflow day being at 0.25, so $250,000. So when we take a look at this breakdown even further, we had a lot more buying that was happening on the retail side than we had selling, but there was some selling, so keep that in mind. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, again, we had more inflows coming in, and we did also have some selling as well. And then when we take a look at what happened on the large, we have more inflows than outflows. So this shows us, yes, potentially institutions were loading up on shares, but we also had many who were selling. And now as we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was around 3.77%. So you know what? This is actually really good. So what this tells us, many who are shareholders of Lucid are holding on to their shares. They're not going out there and selling it off. So there's a lot of strength being shown here. The other point that I want to bring up, yes, there are traders who are inside of this play, but for the most part, people are holding. And again, I'm a little bit surprised about this due to the fact there has been a lot of volatility inside of the market. And plus on top of that, Lucid, there's a lot of expectations put in place. And for anyone who's a current shareholder holding this play for the long term, then you have to make sure you're able to stomach it. That is part of the reasons why I make sure that I make my profits off of Lucid. And I also keep shares for the long term because I do believe in the long-term potential. And it's why I always emphasize you want to have a great entry. So now let's go into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid Group, before we actually get into it, let me just share this quick update with you guys. So the Lucid Air user shows DC fast charging peak at over 250 kilowatts. The car shows excellent average charging speed as well. The first batch of Lucid Air cars is on the roads now, and we just came across the first report about the DC fast charging results. I'm just going to quickly skim over to the paragraph I want you guys to pay attention to. One of the images show that during the session, the car received 80 kilowatts an hour in 31 minutes and 2 seconds. That would be almost 155 kilowatts on average, which is one of the best results on the market. And one thing that I want to bring up, we know already, as far as for the battery technology of Lucid, it is the best out there. And then just seeing that, you know what, this user shared on Twitter, that's originally where it came from, that, hey, this battery is the real deal. Take a look at the stats, and we are seeing, hey, it's been proven, and it looks really good so far. So what we want to see is more feedback. We want to get more reviews coming in from customers, and as well, we might see it coming back from more publications as well. I think that would really help as far as for the overall brand, and I could see this stock actually moving further because it is exciting. They are a new company, and the moment some news comes out, this stock can spike up very quickly or just continue to have the strength that it's been trading in. Now, as far as paying attention to support and as well as resistance, it is great to see that Lucid is holding up the $35 level. If it does pull back, then of course we want to see strength at the $33 level. And one thing that is very clear, we do have an area of resistance at the $40 level. But if we end up having a lot of buying pressure coming through the stock, then we could easily get past 40 and it can go parabolic very quickly. And the main reason behind that is when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. The criteria that we normally look for is 21% or higher, and it's almost double that for the short volume ratio. So this is why you want to keep an eye on this play, and it's part of the reasons why I love to trade it when it's in the current range that it's in. As far as for a long-term investment, I rather add to my position when Lucid is below $20. I know many of you are going to want to curse me right now, but hey, that's just where my average cost is, and I really don't see any reason whatsoever to add to my position in the current prices of where it's at right now. You want to make sure you're being patient. This is a growth stock at the end of the day. They're going to have their ups and they're going to be having their downs, and when they're having their downs, that's where I'm going to be looked to add. I'm not going to be adding while it's all the way at the highs. I feel that is very irresponsible, and it also gives me the opportunity to move my money over into more high conviction plays. But for the most part, in regards to Lucid, I still believe in the long-term prospects, and I want to continue to see them making progress, and I will continue to keep an eye on them, plus keep you guys updated inside of the loop the way the stock is performing in the market. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.